you can get it back. And so in many ways it's like an Imperial Seal. Also you can get a life from the loam and win either way. And then we run 25 lands, and it's not a whole lot. You see, standard lists that run, 26, sometimes 27, but this is Legacy. And you have decks like Delver Rug that run on 18. And so 25 is quite a bit for this format. And it's obviously not like 43 land, which actually in my matches that I've played, my opponents say this feels like they're playing against a 43 land deck, or a lands deck that type of style, but looks like an aggro loam deck. But anyway, since we do have 25 lands, it allows us to support Mox Diamond, which can allow for some very powerful turn 1 and turn 2 plays. Most notably, we can have a turn 1 Sylvan Library. Again, just sick. Turn 1, kill their Noble Hierarch, or maybe an Accelerator or something. And then one of my favorite things is post sideboard. Play a turn 1 Mox Diamond with play Gamble off of the Mox Diamond, and search for one of these 3 specialty lands that we could possibly bring in as kind of hosers against some decks, and play that on the turn 1. And in the matchups where you want Tabernacle, if you can play a turn 1 Tabernacle, a lot of times it's kind of game right there. And then you can do like turn 1 Life from the Loam, and you're still getting some value there. Getting over to the lands that we have, no Life from the Loam deck would be complete without a playset of Wasteland. Makes it very easy for this deck to get a Waste Lock. Already went over Grove of the Burned Willows. Let's go to the fetch lands here. Playing 4 Windswept Heath, 3 Arid Mesa, and 1 Wooded Foothills. I've gone with this configuration only because I only have 1 Wooded Foothills. I do think 8 fetch lands is the right number. However, I don't like the distribution. I would prefer to have 1 or 2 more Foothills and maybe 1 less Windswept Heath. But I don't think having the not so ideal fetch lands is really affecting my games too much. It would only matter with the basics that you're able to get. Then we get to our duels. Running 4 Savannah and 3 Taiga. Whenever possible, I want to search for a Taiga because I need a lot more red than I need white. Seismic Assault costs 3 red, but it's my fastest win condition. So if I draw Seismic Assault, I want to be able to play it. And Punishing Fire needs a lot of red to operate very well. However, I do have 4 Savannah and not 4 Taiga. You'd think I would want 3 Savannah and 4 Taiga. However, I only need 1 white, I guess 2 for Elspeth. But this deck desperately needs a white. And so it's important that I come across white very often. Even though Mox Diamond can really help sort any issues I would have normally had. And then let's get on to the basic lands. I got 1 of each. That's to help against any Blood Moon type effects. Also, sometimes Zoo decks will run some Path Exiles. It would be nice to be able to benefit from those. And that leaves 1 slot left for a Horizon Canopy. It's not the best card in the world. Most of the time it gets sided out because there's usually at least one of these specialty lands that can come in from my sideboard that can provide a little more utility. However, as a main deck card, Horizon Canopy can help with the Life from the Loam draw engine. At worst, it draws a card, and the fact that it can produce colored mana is not irrelevant. Getting over to the sideboard, we have some creature hate here. Wrath of God, been around for ages, needs no introduction. Moat, a lot of decks, if they don't have any enchantment removal, are just stone cold to it. Not every deck runs flyers, and the ones they do need to survive past Punishing Fire and the rest of the removal that I got. Tabernacle, it's good against creature decks. However, through experimentation, I've found that it is amazing in the Dredge matchup. Dredge only plays non-basic lands, and they're light on land count. So if you can get a waste lock from them, early Tabernacle can lock them out of the game, with the exception of Icarids, which I can use my Swords to Plowshares to buy me enough time to get to my graveyard removal. And in fact, Tabernacle is so strong here that when given a choice with Gamble of what to search for, Tabernacle is my first target of choice over the other graveyard hate that I have. Maze of Ith, that's a great utility land just to deal with random large stuff, creatures that are equipped that you don't want the equipment effects from. Obviously it won't deal with stuff like Emrakul. If they're attacking, you're already losing. However, it can also have a cool interaction with my Knight of the Reliquary to make it act like my Knight has some vigilance. Then we get to Artifact and Enchantment hate. Kind of a standard package, nothing fancy. Crows and Grip in case I'm afraid of some counterspells. Nature's Claim is so efficiently costed, and I don't really care about the life gain. If anything, it gets me Punishing Fire back. On to my graveyard hate. Wheel of Sun and Moon. I really like this because you could potentially have that on turn 1, and on the matchups where you want Wheel of Sun and Moon, having it on turn 1 is just so powerful. It's one of the best removal graveyard hate spells that I don't think is getting as much play as it should. And then we have one Bojuka Bog, and with a full play set of Knight of the Reliquary, you get such good utility out of a non-counterable Tormod's Crypt. And blue has been dominating the format, especially of recent times, and so we do have some things for that. We have a Choke and 2 Pyroblasts, and then it leaves only 1 card slot left for anything else we come across, which is combo of all sorts. And so we have 1 copy of Rule of Law. Now, a lot of people would be asking, well, you got 1 copy of all these spells, 1 Rule of Law, 1 Choke, 1 Moat. You can't reliably draw any of these when you need them. And yes, that's true. However, that's what I really love about Gamble in this deck, is it will make it so you have 5 copies of Rule of Law, 5 copies of Choke. So, or if you want to count Eternal Witness to get them back from my graveyard, I have 9. So I actually have a little more utility out of it than just the 1 copy may suggest. So that's the deck in a nutshell. Again, not really looking for comments about the deck, so I'm looking for comments on my play. I think it's important for you to know my lines of play, so I explained the deck for you. So without any further ado, let's get on to the first match. Let's go.